Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Scorpio, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week, you've got the Hierophant card, right? Now, in this deck, it's actually called the Faith card, which is about faith. It's about religion. It's about, the more sort of dogmatic nature of religion, right? And in a lot of ways, this can be about ritual. This is your key to the week. And I kind of feel like the way that this will show up for you this week, I want you to think back to that first eclipse that we had in the sign of Taurus of 2021. I think it was November the 19th. What was happening for you around that time? What were you setting into motion? What were you letting go of? What were you phasing out? The reason I say that is I kind of feel like this Hierophant card is literally speaking to that, and it will be showing you who or what no longer has a place, and more importantly, it's going to highlight to you what is out of place in your personal rituals, right? In your day-to-day routines, in the way that you show up for yourself, in your belief structure. Where is it this week that you are ready to phase something out in order to begin again? If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share. If you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Ten of Swords, right? So this is literally you choosing to bring an end to an old belief structure, an outdated way of seeing things, an outmoded way of looking at things. It also suggests as well, this could be a week where you start to really understand that maybe something that you've bought into or something that you haven't really chosen to look at a deep enough level is now ready to kind of live out its final days in a sense, right? The other thing, that Ten of Swords, it kind of suggests that you might be on the warpath this week, all right? It certainly does suggest that you're going up against something that you don't feel is in its integrity, maybe something that you don't feel is operating as it should. I kind of feel like this is going to be, you calling more so than usual, right? You calling something as you see it, but in a very powerful way. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Four of Swords. You've got this with the Hierophant card, right? So this pairing literally speaks to meditation, mindfulness. This is about you really tapping into an energy and a feeling of bringing things down to ground, right? So this suggests that you're not really speaking a lot this week. You're maybe not necessarily communicating or sharing a lot, but what you do share is from a very, very deep place. Now, we could say that for Scorpios all the time anyway, right? But this is more than that. This is about something that you really do believe on a very deep level, and this is about you sharing that with the world in some way, shape or form. Like I said, you're not going to be speaking much this week, but what you do share will be super powerful and probably super pertinent at that. What I will say with this Four of Swords as a communications and conversations card, when it comes to your work, when it comes to the entities that you're tied to, corporations, etc., this is you really starting to see things and them in a very, very different light. And if I'm honest with you, I really feel like this is not a week for you to be making decisions. It's a week for you to do the research. It's a week for you to gather intel. It's a week for you to really think about what it is that formulating what you want to say is this week's, this week's mission, should you choose to accept it, is that. When it comes to your, those of you that are employed by somebody else, I kind of feel like a lot of you are going to put in for leave. Whether this is holiday, whether it is sabbatical, I kind of feel like this week a lot of Scorpios that are employed by someone else are going to need time away from work, time away from the office, time away from the maddening crowd in order to really get to grips with how they feel about something. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that work for themselves, honestly, I kind of feel like whatever you're doing, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It's going to be a much slower week. This is you really taking time to think your way around things before you act, right? I kind of feel like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen Jurassic Park when the hunter guy is talking about how, you know, like the dinosaur will test the electric fence in different places every other day so that they can see where the weaknesses are. For those of you that have your own business, I kind of feel like this is the week where you're doing that. It's like you're looking at everything as a bird's eye and you're like, right, where are the areas that need to be tweaked here? It's not something that you're sharing with anybody unless you have a team. But it does suggest that it's like you're doing damage control before any damage can take place, if that makes sense. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this is a very deep week for you guys. For those of you that have more time on their hands than anybody else, this could be not a struggle, because you guys live in the deep, you play there, right? This is your playground. But this could be a very deep week. It could be a very heavy week, and people that are interacting with you might kind of be like, okay, the intensity is more intense than the intense stuff. You know, like you could just be really in that mode this week, and not everybody's here for it. Not everybody lives in that space. And so this week it may feel a bit lonely, all right? For your love and relations, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. You've got this underneath the Ten of Swords, but you've also got that Hierophant card here. For those of you that are single and were flirting with the idea of dating with somebody that you work with or somebody that you meet through work, it's a no, all right? I'm not going to go into explanations. I don't have to. It's a no from me. Should you choose to go down that path, it's completely up to you. When it comes to those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is the work that the relationship now requires. And I got to be honest with you, it looks like you've got so much other stuff going on right now, maybe to do with your work, as we've seen, there's a lot going on there, that your relationship or your partner might be like, can you not book me in like I'm another thing on the itinerary, right? You've got to show up more in a relationship capacity than as just your partner or your relationship being something that you need to tick off a list, all right? You've got to be more present than that this week. When it comes to your money and materials, you have the Two of Cups. Partnerships, collaborations, connections are highly favored for money. It could be as well that the partner's money and finances take a boost this week, you know, that their money really starts to come in, or their finances really start to improve. You've got this underneath that Four of Swords though, which suggests that whatever boost to the money comes in through partnerships, connections and collaborations this week, it might be the last one that you get for a while. It's kind of like that last boost before something else kicks in. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, your Two of Cups is your stomach, but also your chest for me personally. This would be a week where, you know, if you're prone to sort of, not water on the lungs, because that's quite serious, but if you're prone to sort of, you know, things like asthma, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but if you're prone to anything like that, of that nature, this week I would really look after yourself in that regard, all right? When it comes to your home and environment, there's a lot to be said for home here, but I'm going to shorten it down to say, if you are inviting anyone from work over this week, be sure that you're in the right space to do so. All right, that's the first thing that I want to say to you. The other thing is as well, for some of you, this could literally just be you looking at, am I ever going to be happy here in my relationship? Does this area, this home, this space really support the kind of life that I need in order to have the kind of relationship that I truly desire? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a great week. Let me, well, as best you possibly can. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up if it's not too personal. Take care, and I'll see you soon.